Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you too. Well, technically,
Birth month.
we're not there yet.
Well, who knows? It might be today. It might be tomorrow. Someday in March, both of us were born.
No, but I mean, like, this is coming out still in February. But
Oh, you're right.
if you're watching this, we do have cute little Let's Party hats because we're just celebrating early.
We're celebrating early. We are so excited to talk about this current book that we're going to be talking about. But I was going to ask you. I was hoping the question would come.
Did you know this book is YA?
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Okay, wait.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, what do you think is kind of like the changing point of a book being YA to a book being considered an adult book?
Well, what I had thought before was that there would be no sexual content or just like a minimal of explicit content. And they would have to be like 17, 16, around that age. Okay. But I don't really know because
the one I always think about, wasn't These Hollow Vows YA?
I don't know. You told me that.
I thought it was. I was under the impression it was.
By Alexi Ryan.
But that book has hella sexual content.
Well, it's not like super explicit though.
It isn't, but it's kind of explicit.
Just the yearning
if
is
I
explicit.
had read that, like me, middle school era, would have changed my life.
I wouldn't be here in this couch right now.
I know. Oh, wow. I just feel like it's kind of weird to me because I would like work with an age group that would read this book, and I don't want them to read this book, at least not yet. I think YA is more geared, I'm hoping, is more geared towards like high schoolers, right?
No.
Isn't
it younger? Isn't it younger but up till high school?
Like middle school,
like
high
middle
school?
school to high school?
But middle school, they're still babies.
I know.
They're little tiny babies.
I don't know. Because when I was reading this book, I got the feeling like, oh, this is very adult.
Maybe like, I would be okay with maybe like 14, 15. You know what I mean? Because I feel like by that age, you're not trying to conceal anything anymore. Now you're going to deal with the world and you need to know certain things. Hopefully you're not learning it just from a book. Hopefully your parents are telling you.
But let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Did we learn it from our parents?
That's crazy to think about, isn't it?
No, we didn't. We learned everything we know because of fan fiction.
Y'all remember track phones? You remember those?
God, don't age us.
Back in the heyday, I had a track phone and it was a flip. I'm gonna send you a picture of the one I had because it was cool. And it was when you had to pay for minutes, and if you wanted to use the internet on it, 1 minute would equal 50 cents. So I would come over here and I'd buy like with my own money, which is money my parents gave me, so it's not my own money, but I would get like a $10 thing and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be on the internet forever. Oh my God, this is gonna be so great. And I remember I would look up fan fiction, and this was like the age where I stumbled upon like my first like spice. And I just remember I was like, I love this story and I don't know why. So I gotta think smart. I gotta know the URL. I gotta know the name of the story so I don't waste minutes.
Yeah.
I knew that shit by heart.
And that's also why you read so quickly. Because you were like, I
was on a
1
fucking time crunch.
I need to hurry up.
What about you?
I remember the minute phones, but I don't think I had discovered fan fiction through there. You know what's funny? When I first discovered fan fiction, I didn't really like delve too deep into it. I was just really confused. It was Inuyasha and... Sorry, unfortunately, it was Inuyasha and his brother, Sesshomaru.
Whoa,
yeah, which I was so
crazy.
Confused, but then things were happening in the story, and I was like, wait.
Is this canon?
I didn't get it. I was really young. I didn't get it. So I just remember I exited out, and I was like, that was weird. But anyway, so in the future, which I think was like maybe 6th grade, 5th grade, around there, I had discovered fan fiction on YouTube. Do you remember those days when people would put their fan fiction on YouTube?
Yes, the ones with music.
And then the still images and whatever.
Yes.
That was how I discovered.
That's crazy.
That was my sex ed.
That's crazy.
I was being taught by another 11-year-old probably.
Oh my god. It's so embarrassing the things we thought that worked. But you know what? We're here today.
I know, and they were wrong.
They were completely wrong. I think the first time I read like a spicy fan fiction, I think I was also 13. And
I was 11.
I was going to be like, I don't remember what it was for. I think it was for this one anime I was super into. It was called Detective Conan. And it was also a weird, like, it was like a brotherly friendship that they made into a relationship. And I remember when I read it, I thought it was real. Like, I was like, is this the new chapter? Like, oh my God, it got crazy real quick.
You're like, I missed something. Yeah. When did this happen?
Mm-hmm. But here we are today.
I mean, for the good fan fiction, that's canon. For the bad cringy ones, no.
But it's weird because now there are books that are so readily available that parents are buying for their kids, where like the sex is so much more realistic, or like even just the topic of sex or getting to that point is so much more realistic. And I'm like, damn, you kids have it so easy.
Wait, can I also bring something up that I think is relevant?
Yeah.
So remember how last time we were talking about the games Fable?
Yes.
And I didn't realize this, but I was really young playing that. And I was looking up videos of Fable 2 and like people talking about it. And I saw a comment that was like, thanks to Fable 2, I learned what condoms are. And then I had like a flashback of like, yeah, I think that's how I learned too, because they would get STDs. So I was like, we gotta wrap that up.
You learned about safety through Fable. That's funny. When we had first met, I remember one of the things you told me, you were like, I play that game all the time.
Yeah, no, I was so into that one. That's and Mortal Kombat.
Funny. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, shout out to Fable too.
See,
we need more books that
do that. Sorry, you didn't wear a condom, you died.
That's unfortunate, but you know, that's what happens in real life. But anyways, so all of this to say, The Immortal Dark by Tigest Girma is February's book of the month for our book clubs. If you are interested in a book club, we have them available under the Book Fix pod in Fable and Goodreads.
You can find the links to them on Linktree, linktr.ee/thebookfix. Yes,
and next month's book is going to be Tessa Bailey's Dream Girl Drama,
which I'm so excited to read.
Me too. Oh, gosh. It sounds juicy based on the summary, but please join our book club so that we can all scream about it together.
Okay, that sounds good. Do you think... What would you consider? Do you think a dark academia? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think a dark academia book where the women in the book are, if you're listening, chef's kiss. Do you think that type of book can fix your life?
Yes.
Welcome to the Book Fix podcast, a podcast that fixes lives one book at a time. I'm your host, Cheli.
And I'm your host, Yajaira.
And today we are talking about Immortal Dark by Tigest Girma. Mm-hmm. I am going to try my best with all the pronunciations.
I know. Same.
I was practicing before I came here.
Okay, good.
So I am so excited to talk about this book.
I feel like I had it earlier today when I was finishing it, but now I'm kind of like, wait.
Dude, look at me.
Oh, wow.
You ready. Took notes. And I broke it down by chapters.
And if this is your first time listening to us, there will be spoilers ahead.
Yes, so be super prepared for us. This is a book club. You need to read the book first. Go read it. No, you don't. But it would be nice if you did, because this book is fucking dense.
It's dense, and I feel like there are so many plot points just like interwoven in one major plot.
So before we start, I have two things I like and one thing I don't like that I want to bring up now, because I'm going to bring it up the entire time.
Okay.
One thing I liked about this book, which is something I usually hate, is that there were some chapters where I felt like I was going to school and I was learning.
I had a flashback to when we were talking about the book Arcane by Lynette Noni, I think. And where we were both complaining about the fact that these school days were so long. But if you think about it, nothing happened in those school days. But I feel like in the Immortal Dark, I was kind of like learning something.
This was the actual time, the only time I've ever felt like it was informative. Like when she would go to school, I was excited because I was like, oh, she's going to be challenged a little more with her beliefs, which I'll talk about that later.
But I also loved that it didn't feel like it was just her and the love interest and nobody else. You know, sometimes we read books where it's like in a university or college setting and it's like, this place is empty.
The Coven.
The Coven.
That was The Coven.
That was The Coven by
Harper
L. Woods.
Okay. I was going to say that. No, I wasn't.
You're like, that was my second guess.
No, but I like this one so much because that was my second point I wanted to bring up. I like that you knew as a reader that the world continued without the main character.
Yeah, I
agree.
agree.
There was still shit going on, and then we would get the characters come to the main character like, oh, you haven't talked to us in a bit? I just fucking killed a guy. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's like you missed a lot. Like things were actually happening.
But it didn't
outside of our POV, I guess.
But it didn't do that shit where it was like, okay, I'm going to sit you down and say exactly what happened. It was like, no, you have to pick up just where we left off. Yeah. And we got to go. I fucking love that.
Yeah, so it felt very realistic.
My only dislike with that, and the reason I'm bringing this up now is because I don't want to repeat myself.
You're going to say it again.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to keep this episode short because I feel like it's going to be long. I wish that there were certain scenes that we did see, because there were certain big things that happened off screen that I feel like I would have felt differently about a character had I seen what they did, because there were two really, really big moments that I'll talk about when they come up, where I was like, why the did that happen when she was gone? Like, this feels like I should have been there,
because I feel like it wouldn't have happened had she been there.
No, I know that, but I wish they could have been like maybe on FaceTime.
FaceTime?
I don't know what time this takes place in, but
me neither.
You know what I mean? I wish that I was there because I felt like I missed a pivotal point of the story. But
also I'm not mad about it.
I was going to say that. It's not going to take away from my rating of this book, which we will talk about at the end. But why don't we start talking about this story?
So our main character's name is Kidan. And she is really close to her sister June. And God, there's so much lore to this world, but let me try to explain it. So in this world, there is like a family of vampires and families of humans, and certain families are able to like be fed by the vampires.
And this wasn't like a thing that just automatically started. It was something that happened with the vampires where they could no longer just take people's blood. Like it was like poison to them.
Yeah, it was kind of like a treaty.
Yeah.
Or like a curse, or however you want to look at it. But now they can only take from like 80 families or something like that. But it has to be like consensual. You can't just take it from them, or else, like Cheli said, it'll be poisonous. So our main character Kidan is from one of those families, and she has a sister named June, and they're very, very close. And from what we learned, June is very like scared of vampires and very like nervous. Like she loved to do video diaries, and in these video diaries she will explain that, you know, I have all of these nightmares, night terrors.
Well, she's a parasomniac too.
Yeah. So it's something that she's going through, and we learn more details about it through Kidan's journey. But then all of a sudden, June is taken from what we learned. And she...
I think for an entire year, Kidan... I don't think it's a year. Maybe it's a couple months.
No, I think it was like a year, because she was trying to figure out about the university. Remember?
Yes.
Because I remember her being like, damn, this long, and... look at how easily I got in. Because she was searching about it, but you can't go to this university. So this university, you can only get in through a invitation. Like you can't just go. So then a bunch of things happen. Also, there's trigger warnings in this book. I don't know if you saw them, but one of them was like violence and just like suicidal ideation. And so Kidan was at a point in her life where she didn't care about literally anything else besides her sister June. So she was like willing to like burn down everything until she found her. And she found out that her foster mom had something to do with what happened to her.
So we're kind of brought into this story after all that exposition, where Kidan is sitting in her apartment and she is looking at all of these papers and looking at videos, trying to piece where her sister's at, while also thinking like, I can't go out. The news reporters are there and I killed someone. And if I go out, that's like the end. But it's okay because my life will end in 8 months. Because I'm not planning to go to the court case for the person I killed. My life will end in 8 months. And she just keeps repeating that to herself.
But she is hoping that she'll find her sister in between that time.
Yes.
But let's just spoil it because we have a lot to get through.
Okay.
So she basically ended her foster mom's life because, like I said, she knew that she had something to do with her disappearance. And before she died, she said a name.
She said, your sister was taken by Susenyos Sagad. Sagad?
I don't know.
Susenyos. I know his first name.
Yeah.
So ever since then, she's like, I'm going to find this bitch and I'm going to end him and I'm going to find my sister. And there's this theme that repeats throughout the entire story. Why are you laughing?
Because it's like she just pulls up guns ablazing. She's just like, I'm going to find this
bitch
and ruin his life.
There's this thing that the character repeats to herself a lot, which is I forget how she says it, but she always repeats to herself that killing all evil because there is no redemption for anything that's evil. So I'm gonna skip forward, but the dean of the school, her name is Ferris, ends up finding Kidan and says that her home where her aunt used to live, her aunt passed away, and now this home is either going to go to the vampire that currently lives there, or it can go to you if you choose to go to the school.
Yeah, because she and her sister are the last of this line.
And she really wants the home because she feels like if she's at the school, then she could figure out more about
Her sister
and this whole Susenyos.
Yeah, because she also said, if you give me the best lawyers, I'll go. But she has to pass first. Like, she has to pass this one class in order for
her to graduate to the next year. I think it's like that.
Yeah.
So she agrees. She goes, and I fucking love that scene when she first arrives to the school. I was like a ¿cómo se llama? A 90s teen movie. She walks in, the bus goes away, and she's like, whoa, this is amazing, you know? Yeah. And the first thing she does first hour in, like, there's a little bird on the floor. Let me just
scoop it up and put it out of its misery. Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking crazy because she was holding it. I don't think she had the intention to kill it at the beginning.
It wasn't until she realized that it was suffering.
Yes. And someone came up from behind her.
Susenyos, yeah.
It was Susenyos, but she didn't know that. She was like, this guy's clearly a vampire. So she crushes.
But no, she didn't realize it right away because remember, she was looking at him and was thinking to herself, wow, what a handsome man. This man is so handsome.
She's fucking killing a bird. And I'm like, oh my God. But I loved that conversation they had because he was like, you just killed that bird. Why didn't you just hand it to me? And she said, well, it's different because you wanted to kill it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. So.
And then doesn't she like throw the bird so that he doesn't touch it or harm it or anything? And he's like, you killed it 3 times now when I could have just helped you.
Could have done it in one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How did you feel about that? Because that said a lot about her.
Well, I feel like from the very beginning, I had a sense that this girl was going to be very impulsive and unhinged. Like, she would do whatever it takes. And I mean, obviously, we learn all throughout the story that she really is impulsive and doesn't really think things through. She'll just act. I don't know. I was kind of eating it up.
You were eating it up?
I kind of was. There was a moment where I was like, I don't know if I like her or not, but I kind of do.
I fucking loved her. I loved her, but I was feeling for her because she just had such a skewed view of the world. The line that she said was, all evil must die. That was her belief. And that's how she went into the school, believing that. She was very much very driven by revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And when she went to the home of her family home, and she saw that Susenyos was that guy, she was like, he's the one who fucking took June, but I can't say anything without evidence.
But I also hated how she instantly found her sister's bracelet in his drawer. Because I was just thinking, like, it can't be that easy. It can't be. We're like 10% in.
Did you think it was him?
No.
Me neither.
I didn't. Because every time she would say it, like, oh, where's June? Like, did you kill June?
Oh.
He would just not really react. Or he would, like, laugh about it. Like, kind of just, like, brush it off. I don't know.
He was just like, oh, I see what the confusion is. No, I got this from a girl at a Taylor Swift concert. We did the bracelet. Okay, I get what you're saying. And it's like, oh, bitch, you should have told me.
Unfortunately, it's not one of a kind. Sorry.
But they immediately hated each other, more her than him. He was just never home at the beginning of the book. He would hang out in this building that it was like vampires only.
But I kind of love that the hatred between the two of them was so intense. Dude. This girl ruined this man's life 10 times and over and over and over again.
And he was still kind of like, okay, but
no, but in the beginning, not really.
No,
it took a while for me to be like, oh wait,
dude, this was romance. The slowest burn. I think there was a note I wrote where like, are they gonna fall in love because I fucking hate this guy?
Really?
Yeah. Well, I loved him, but not for her. I was very much like, he's kind of a piece of trash.
Oh, I love
all the women in this book. Beautiful, every single one of them. Even the ones that were a little crazy, which is everyone. But
well, 2 of them.
The beginning of the book, they don't like each other at all. She wants to accuse him, but she really doesn't have any evidence. Even with the bracelet being there, his fingerprints weren't on the bracelet.
Yeah, and he was really confused about it too.
Yes.
And nobody really wanted to help her. Like, anytime she would say, no, my sister was taken by that guy over there, everyone would be like, how? He's so nice.
Susenyos?
No.
My best friend. That's my compa. Don't even get me started.
Don't you know what he does all day? He just writes back.
Yeah.
He, like, writes letters to women.
Get you a man like Susenyos. But what I also really liked is that the home they were living in was like kind of alive.
Oh yeah.
Because your house reacts to you, and a big thing in this universe is that the area they're living in, the vampire area, they're called Dranakti, which is vampires and humans. In order to coexist, the 80 families have to make rules for the house that extend throughout the vampire land. But if someone breaks a rule, they're automatically like banished. And Dean Ferris, when she dropped off Kidan, was like, just to let you know, your place has a rule. Go ahead and learn it. Also, she's gonna get crazy in there. Okay, bye. And she was like,
bye, good luck.
Okay, I don't know what she means by that. But there were like parts of the house that connected to your emotion. So like one,
or really, it was just like reacting.
Yeah,
like depending on your emotion, that's what was happening in the house.
There was one, I think it was the hallways that they said like anytime you walk through a hallway, it like gets to your fears. And then the observatory was where it like tested you with like the thing that hurt you the most. And I just thought that shit was really cool because throughout the story we learn that the house becomes easier to deal with if both Kidan and Susenyos are on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Or if they're coexisting, which they definitely weren't in like the first half of the story. God, it was a lot of hate between them. This was like the first time where I really felt like, oh, this is enemies.
Yeah.
Enemies to
Dude,
love.
that's what I was saying because I was like, they fucking hate each other. There's no tension. There was one line at the beginning that I was going to bring up where he was just kind of like, are you flirting with me? But that's the only time he ever said it. And then no attraction to her whatsoever throughout the story. And I was like, did that even happen?
Yeah.
Did they gaslight me? Does it feel like that happened? But, okay. Beginning of the story, they fucking hate each other. Susenyos is off doing his own fucking thing. So our girl Kidan it's funny. She has a group of friends that I thought, because I didn't know what to expect out of this book, I thought they were going to be mentioned and never mentioned again. And I thought I wasn't going to care about any single one of them.
Because that's how it normally is in these stories, where it's like, who cares about friendships? So I think the friend group is Remen, Slem, Yusuf, GK,
And her.
and her. So 5.
That's squad right there. And I didn't think I'd care about a single one of them.
And I cared about all of them.
That's squad. That is so squad.
Also, we forgot to say the university's name. It's called Uxlay.
Uxlay. So squad was so strong for I think a total of 10 pages.
Well, I feel like in the beginning it wasn't strong yet.
No.
Because Kidan was very manipulative. Like, she was just thinking, like, how do I get the most out of this experience? Because I need to use somebody here.
It's funny because she would also think, like, how do I ask them about Susenyos without asking them? And then she'd be like, nah, f- it. What do you know about Susenyos? And
Yeah.
like, we're in class.
I think she immediately asks Remen, like,
Remen.
hey, what do you know about him? Because I think he took my sister. And
I kind of saw
she
you
was-
both walking together.
yeah, and she was like, no, he's really nice.
But because of what it felt to me was after the whole sister thing was mentioned to Remen, she immediately dies. Like,
Remen?
she is dropped from a high building and they see her fall. And it's really sad because I think GK was right there when it happened. And I'm like, fuck, squad.
Yeah. And GK was the nicest out of all of them. I felt really bad for him because immediately he went up to Kidan and was like, hey, my finger bones are jiggling every time you're near, and I think something bad's gonna happen to you. So let me just read your future with these finger bones. And she was like, no, thank you, but you can study with us.
When I didn't know, when I wasn't sure if Susenyos was gonna be the one, like, I was sure, but there was a part of me that's like, now they hate each other. I was like, GK, this is probably gonna be a triangle because this boy is so good.
Yeah.
You remember that scene where she laughed at his joke and he was like, it was really nice to hear you laugh, even if it was just for a little while.
Yeah. He was so
Dude.
nice.
I love that bitch. Okay. Her friends, they're also going to be the next people that take over their houses. And the reason why Kidan thought to hang out with them is because she wanted someone from each domain of the university, because it's like linguistics, music, history, and arts. So she became friends with all these people for that. And she didn't really think they were going to mean anything to her.
Yeah, but they were slowly, like, healing her. I mean, she was still full of revenge, but, you know, it, like, died down just, like, a little bit.
I fucking loved that point where she realized, like, I think I like him. Because I think it was when she saw Susenyos with his friends, which was Nico and Taj. She was like, I wonder what it feels like to have a ride or die.
Because Taj was a ride or die.
I have 3 of them.
Yeah. I think we should skip forward.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
So much happens.
Read this book.
But I gotta just say, the moment that I knew that I loved Kidan was that moment where they were given an assignment where they were like, oh, you have to have a vampire gift you something. It has to be a gift. It can't just be taken. And so she would try to talk to other vampires, Taj more specifically, and he was like, sorry, girl, we are prohibited from helping you. And you know what? I love Susenyos, so I can't do it.
My boy Yos.
Yeah, I can't do that to him. And so, and GK was going to give her what he was given, which was the button.
Yeah.
He was like, well, you know, it seems like you have a really good reason to be here, so you can have this button. Because there was nothing that said that I couldn't just gift you what was given to me.
Yes.
And for a split second, she thought about it. She was like, maybe I should. No. And so she went to her freaking house, pulled out the fangs that she pulled from Susenyos because he was like in a blood rage because she stole his flask or his cup of blood.
Yes.
And that's like the only blood that you're given for like, I think, a month. And so he was like in a little bit of a rage and was like, you know what? I don't want to bite you. So just take off my fangs.
Yep.
And so she's over here like, Look at what Susenyos gave me, guys.
Looking a Ziploc bag, shaking it. Look at this shit.
He gave it to me because
Mm-hmm.
it would be embarrassing for him to admit to everyone, like, oh yeah, she took these from me.
And it's also against the law to admit how she got them. Because he was threatening her, which you're not supposed to do to the humans in the household.
Yeah, because there's a lot of rules.
Yeah. But I thought that was so funny.
I thought that was so funny. I was dying at that scene.
Dude, I was so like, I felt it. I was like, Susenyos is gonna end up being not that bad of a guy, and she's gonna feel so bad. I
was waiting for her to feel really bad.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so to speed forward through the story, she suspects Susenyos for a good chunk of the story, up until, because she has this bright idea, like, my aunt, she gave me this pill where it'll seem like I'm poisoned, but I'm actually not. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to ask for a life exchange, which is something that's brought up in the story where if you're dying, you could ask to be turned into a vampire. So
But in order for you to be turned into a vampire has to give up their immortality for you. Yes.
But there's like the secret community called the 13 that if you know where they're at, they can hook it up. They could find a way to turn you into a vampire. So when she meets them, she didn't expect that the main bitch of the 13 was the dad of her bestie, Slim. And she's like, oh my God, he's a fucking bitch. He's over here doing this shit, and he's also really a horrible father.
Yeah.
And so she starts, immediately, she's like, I don't like it here. They're telling me that they will help me only if I ruin the lives of their children. Why is it that parents have kids and are violent towards them, but then when their kids start acting out, all of a sudden it's a bad thing?
Yeah.
Like, she starts having so many negative thoughts about this.
There were certain parents that were like, I want you to make my son fail. I don't want him to pass the class.
That's crazy. And that specific one, they were talking about Yusuf. When she asked why, it was like, oh, well, because the person who's currently in charge of the house is easier to convince.
Yeah, like easier to manipulate.
Such a bitch. So she was not down at all, but she was like, maybe they can help me find out what happened to June, because she still thought it was Susenyos. But then she heard that the 13 framed Susenyos for all this shit, and one of them was taking June, and she was like, if they're framing him, he didn't do it.
But then it was like a big thing, because then they all had to go to court, and in this court she was like, yeah, I said that, but I was wrong. Actually, he didn't.
I was crossing my fingers.
Yeah, and the blood was actually mine.
Yeah.
In the flask. Remember that? In the cup?
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah, that was mine.
You can't check it. He drank it all.
I drank it all.
I drank it before I got in.
So... And then there was a moment where the judge was like, oh, Susenyos, do you want to press charges? I was sweating. I was like, if he says yes, I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't.
I want to press charges. He pulls out a paper and he like rolls it out and it goes down the hall. Bitch, I've been waiting.
Everything that she's put me through. But also, I forgot to mention that when she got poisoned, that's when their dynamic changed.
He was so worried.
So nice to her that for a second, I was like, what the
fuck happened to Susenyos?
Yeah, who is this man? I don't know him.
He was so, immediately when she took it, he was like, are you okay? Is anything different? Are you okay? And she was just, it kind of took her by surprise too. But he was trying to help her get immortality because he really didn't want her to die.
Even though it would have been easier for him. That way he would have inherited the house. But
yes. So when he figured out, after the whole court case, I don't know what brings it up, he figures out that she lied about dying. She wasn't. It was fine. He was so fucking pissed. Oh. And I don't remember how they remedy it, but Susenyos is kind of whipped. He's kind of like,
yeah,
wrong me once, shame on me.
But if you wrong me twice,
shame on me. Wrong me 10 times, shame on me. He's like, keeps going.
Seriously.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I couldn't understand. Like, I understand, but I don't understand, because it's like, this girl has been ruining your life since she got here.
You know, I would have understood.
And then I felt so bad for him, because even he had a moment when, God, I don't remember what Kidan found out about. And she was so angry with him. But he was like, your friends have done 10 times worse things than I have, but you're so quick to forgive them.
Yep.
Is it because I'm a vampire that you think that, oh, everything I do is just like worse?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's your friends, you'll like easily forgive them.
But it's funny because she had never considered to see a vampire having human qualities.
Mm-hmm.
So when she first meets Susenyos' friend Taj, she's just like, the fact that he's laughing so freely is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never expected a vampire to be able to do that. And it's like, yes, they're made more of, they have more to them than just being a vampire. So when her and Susenyos actually start having like a decent living situation,
Mm-hmm.
she starts to realize like, oh, he likes to write, he likes history,
He likes art. Mm-hmm.
what a loser. Can you imagine? She's like mean about it. I f***ing love that shit though.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that it was based on an actual emperor?
No.
I looked it up.
Oh, really?
I looked it up because I was like, I wonder if this is like other stories we've read that have done that.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of Iron Widow, but
yeah.
I looked it up and there was an emperor named Susenyos.
Shout out to that man.
Shout out, but they weren't vampires.
Oh, are you sure?
Actually, no, I'm not. We'll look
double
back
check
into
that.
it. Yeah. No, but I really liked that he was so like, you want people to be on your side, then you have to show that you care about what this house stands for, which was history, because that was your parents. There was like this whole archaeological site that they were super invested in, where they found a lot of good like trinkets and artifacts about their culture in Ethiopia, and it just mattered a lot, and she had to know it. And then through them making this friendship, there was this one episode she had at the beginning where she destroyed one of his rooms.
Oh,
And he
oh
reveals
my God.
that room, before he was a vampire, before he turned, he was an emperor of this one area. And all of his people, I'm going to spoil this part a lot because it's brought up so many times. All of his people, because of him, were turned into vampires. And they all separated from him. And he was so heartbroken from that. You don't really know why things happen like that. But he made the decision to separate from them, but kept all of their letters and all of their trinkets and every piece of them. And she destroyed it. And I'm like, damn, I would have kicked her out.
yeah, same. I feel like
would've
he
been
was
like-
way too nice to her.
You know what? Paying more for rent doesn't sound that bad right now.
I need to get out of this house.
Yeah, he was so forgiving. There were points where I was like, you gotta let her go.
I know.
You gotta let her go.
You know
man.
how normally it's like guys will give you like these like red flags. I'm like, this girl's a walking red flag. Get away
But
from her.
he's so patient with her.
Yeah,
though.
he is.
Because he really wanted her to be better for her. Because like you said, there was a lot of suicidal ideation in this book. And there was a point where he brought up like, you need to learn to love yourself. You know, like there was like a really famous line when they were finally developing something that was a little past the friendship. And she kept bringing up like she doesn't see herself living for that long, or she doesn't really deserve to
Or even
have-
like when he found out that she had a pill
yeah,
where she could like end it just in case, because she had told him, oh, you know, I just have this just in case someone wants to like off me, you know, then I'll leave on my own accord. And he was like, that's not right.
normal.
Yeah.
And he says to her, it's a shame that when I finally find my equal, she cannot love herself enough to remain in this world. And that was so sad. And he just tells her, like, if you give me time, I will give you thousands of reasons why to love yourself. And I'm like, God damn, you're so sweet. Like, I'm sorry I stabbed you. Like, that's so sweet. And it's crazy to me how patient he is through all of that. Because by this point in the story, I was thinking, there's nothing that can possibly happen between them now that's going to make them into
Like
enemies again.
Like when they were on the same wavelength and they were like obviously in love, and
Yeah.
he bit her thigh. Remember that?
That was crazy.
That was wild, because in this world, depending on where a vampire bites you, it like invokes a different type of memory.
Yeah. They were so...
And I think the thigh one was when she learned about the worst thing he's ever done, right? Was it that one?
Yes. It was that one.
Mm-hmm.
There was also one I really liked where they don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a really intimate one, which was the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And they both were like, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, me neither.
No, but their relationship is so good. So what we learn when the relationship is good is that the house rule is that Susenyos has to stay there and guard the house. But if he does anything to endanger the house, something valuable will be taken from him. And the valuable thing that's being taken from him is his immortality.
Mm-hmm.
So in one room of the house, he is human.
Mm-hmm.
And he has killed people to have this stay like a secret.
Mm-hmm. So whenever she says the H word, the human word, he like gets triggered.
Yeah.
He's like, don't ever call me that. Don't ever in your life.
Oh, dude. Skipping closer to the end. Susenyos does have that secret, but he's still very willing to help her find her sister June, because now they know that the 13th, the organization that's there, there's another organization called the Nefrasi who also have the same belief as the 13th, where they believe they should have more control for what they want instead of the university having control for everyone. Like, they want to be able to own their own homes and make their own rules.
Yeah. So have free will.
Yes. Which, to me, I don't know if you felt the same way. I know they were bad people. But there were points where I was like, I wonder who's worse, though.
Yeah.
Because I kind of see what the university means by we need to take care of the many. But then I see their view of like, but who's taking care of the few?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I feel like this whole treaty doesn't really benefit the vampires in any way. Like, what's the point of making more vampires? I don't really see the benefit in that.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, nah, I'm chill. Like, let's just, I love all my primos here. We're all good here.
I think the thing that people really liked about immortality was just like the wealth aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Wasn't it? You could just be more rich.
But also the Nefaris?
Yeah. Nefrasi.
They were also the people that Susenyos was the emperor of. Mm-hmm. So that's what we learned, is that when he left and everyone got like turned into vampires,
it was his people.
It was his people, and so it was his fault. And so they kind of have this like hatred towards him because he abandoned them.
And there's already so much tension after figuring that out between Susenyos and Kidan. But Kidan she's still down for him. Like, she still respects and trusts him.
Well,
kind of. There's like moments where they don't and moments where they do. But there's a point where she's like, okay, I need to help my friends because so much is happening with us right now. But for some reason, I think my friends are also involved in the 13th. Because Slem is. After her dad is sent to prison, she basically steps up, I think. And then Yusef kills someone out of like a rage fit. Mm-hmm. And GK is just watching this happen.
Well, GK doesn't know what's happening yet. He actually stepped away from the course that you need to complete in order to like move forward. So he's kind of been like pushed to the side. So it's just like the three now. And when Yusef committed that crime, I felt like Kidan was so like shocked, like kind of like, oh, I thought it would be just me. And so to calm him down, she decides to like tell them the truth. She was like, oh, I actually offed my foster mom before coming here. Yep. And so they kind of have this moment of like, oh, see, like then it's okay.
Yep. Even Slem, there's that connection for all of them. But it makes me sad because that point where she figures out about the Nefrasi and about the 13th, and she's ready to go, and her friendship with Slem and Yusef is kind of rocky because Yusef just killed someone. Mm-hmm. And then she was in the middle of like, I just talked to GK and he said something really strange, and I think he knows about what we're doing. We should go talk to him. Mm-hmm. There's all this shit going on, so she's ready to leave.
Well, I mean, the way that he went up to her.
Yes.
He was like, I think I know why my bones are rattling so much when you're around is because you bring death. Mm-hmm. And then wait, wasn't Slem
he didn't bring it up like that. she read that part.
No, yeah, but he did say something to her.
Yeah,
She was like, oh, he knows. Well, anyway, with Slem, doesn't it come out that Slem was the reason why Remen died?
Yes.
So that's her kill also.
Mm-hmm. And then the GK's connecting all of this, and he's super upset about it. And Kidan is like, I need to deal with this, but I don't really have time. Can you wait for me here? Mm-hmm. And we'll bring the squad back together and talk about this.
Yeah, but I felt like she was so naive. Because there was a moment, because like stuff happens with her where she gets distracted for a while. And then Slem calls her and she's like, oh, GK is here. But like, it's very like kind of like ominous. And Kidan's like, oh my God, I'll be right there. I'm so sorry. Just give him some water. Tell him to calm down. I'll be right there. And Slem is just kind of like, okay. But in my mind, I was like, girl, don't be stupid.
Yep.
You are the company you keep, so come on.
So then Slem calls back and is like, GK kind of died on us.
Yeah.
Because we did kill him.
Oh my God. How did you feel?
Dude, I was so upset because I was like, you couldn't wait 5 minutes. I was almost there. I was around the corner.
Well, she was going through a lot with Susenyos because she shot him.
Yeah, she did. Because she thought that because his people were the Nefrasi, he thought that was connected.
She thought that he was actually involved with June.
Yes.
And so when she shot him, I thought this man was going to die because he was like bleeding out and he was just like laying there. And then Taj showed up and he was pissed, rightfully pissed.
Yes.
And I was just like, Kidan, you're embarrassing me. Get up.
Get up.
And you know what's so funny? There was a moment. Oh, it was that moment where they like bit each other's. Oh no, where they shared blood or whatever.
Yeah.
Where he bit her thigh. And you know the vision that they saw, like the thing that they don't want to admit or whatever it was. And she was like, oh, what did you see for me? And before he even said it, I said it.
You knew?
I knew. I was like, oh, she doesn't actually want to keep looking for June. And then when he said it, she got so mad at him. Mm-hmm. But I was like, girl, you're much happier. You're much happier when you don't think about June.
I love my sister. I love June. It's scribbled on her arm.
Yeah,
I felt so bad for her, but it makes sense because it took up so much of her life. But now she's finding comfort in the people around her.
It took so much of her life and also her soul. Like this girl was unhinged and she was just like losing herself.
By this point, we're still led to believe that she was either kidnapped or killed. Most likely kidnapped, but...
Most likely kidnapped based on like what other vampires are kind of saying.
Yes.
Like, oh, June? Oh, yeah, June.
So after GK is killed, she has this moment where she sits with it. No. And then she's like...
No, she doesn't sit with it.
It's not for that long, but she sits with it and then she's like, no. This is such a sacrilegious thing to do because he was just such a sacred boy.
When she goes there and she sees him, she tries to bring him back. Like she's like trying to resuscitate him, but he's obviously gone. And Slem and Yusuf are both kind of just like, well, he had to go because he was going to go to the principal and we can't let everyone know all of the bodies behind us. And so... like you said, for some reason, she was like, no, this was the best out of all of us. So we're going to bring him back.
It's the best. Look at our necklaces. The best friend necklaces that connect us four.
Can I just say, though, I know,
what are you going to say?
I know she's impulsive, and it didn't surprise me that she wanted to bring him back. But, like, GK was such a good person. I don't think he would want to come back. Can you imagine waking up and being like, you bitches killed me?
I was there already.
You bitches killed me. I was knocking on heaven's door.
And the door was opening. They were leading me in and I got pulled out.
I'd be pissed.
I thought it was, I don't know. I thought this scene was kind of beautiful because it made me think of this show.
That is so funny for you to say that because you're so like, when we've talked about death, you don't like it when they bring people back.
No, I don't. Asterisk, except my boy GK. I love this because I liked the moment. It really was only a page, but I liked the moment where she looked at his body and just had like this isn't us. Like we wouldn't do this.
But they would, though.
Okay, but we wouldn't, though, because we're besties.
We're besties. We're best friends.
Look
forever.
at our matching tattoo. No, but I like that moment where she was like, I'm going to change this because I can.
Yeah. Because
it's just such a, instead of accepting your fate, you created one. And I don't, you know what?
You don't normally like that.
I don't know. It kind of got me.
No, this was the part that I was like, no.
I was like, GK, come on. Come on.
No, because I feel like he's going to be,
which I kind of
rightfully.
He's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm so there.
He's going to be worse than all of the other villains in this story.
So there for that. Because we didn't say this, but GK was raised, I don't remember the name of it, but for every boy that's born in August, they take them from their parents, raise them without any family members and without any friends.
So it's very like loner.
Yes.
It's like a loner tradition.
But in order for them to be like a good moral compass. Mm-hmm. And it really sucks because the reason he was part of this school was because he finally wanted to have a house. And he's gonna now.
Okay, so personally, didn't work for me. But then, okay, but also like I don't understand the logic after this. Mean? In her mind, she was like, now I have to go back to the Nefrasi and like convince them to like give up one of their own to bring back my friend.
Yes, because she had something that they wanted, which was the artifact that lets you cancel out the second bind of being a
But
vampire.
she didn't actually have it.
It's okay. They don't know that. They don't know that.
But like it didn't go anywhere near her favor. So I don't understand.
Well, what has she done also, that has made sense in this story?
Well, yeah, true. But also, like, I felt so bad for her really nice friend, her two friends, the two remaining friends that she has, because now they were being tortured. Mm-hmm. And I was like, girl, if you would have just, like, thought about this for 1 second, your poor friends would not be going through this.
I'm just going to say this. Had they waited 5 extra minutes before killing GK, this would have been a very different story.
I was okay with GK going, honestly. At this point, his friends killed him. If you killed me, I would not want to come back and look you in the eyes. I'd be pissed.
You wake up and I'm just like, hi.
Hey, girl. Are you mad at me?
Okay, first off, funny story.
No, dude. I would not want to look you in the eyes.
Really?
I didn't mean it, though.
No, it's fine.
But
no, I get what you mean, but
this part with the Nefrasi really pissed me off though, because the main guy, I forgot his name. Do you remember? Samson, thank you. He was like brothers to Susenyos.
Yes.
But not by blood. I think it was just like the bond that they had.
Yes.
And so he obviously wanted revenge on Susenyos, and he was like, "Oh, you want to bring back your friend? Oh, well then you're going to have to pass these like little games." And freaking Yusuf, his hands got burned.
Yeah.
And Slam was acting like, "Oh, I can just end his, like I can just like cut out his heart. Like I don't really care."
Damn. And but anyway, Samson makes Susenyos.
Kidan is like, "Hey, let's just call my good friend Susenyos, and he'll totally come and help me out." Which he's safe if he stays in the house, but if he gets out of the house, then it's like all bets are off. Then they'll do whatever they want with him. To
bring up too, the whole rule of the house, he loses parts of the home if he endangers the home. Mm-hmm. And he got this call from Samson, who was like, "By the way, we got your bitches here. Listen to all of them, and they're being tortured." Mm-hmm. And Susenyos is kind of playing it cool, like, "I don't care what you do to them. Makes my life easier."
Yeah.
And then he hears Kidan's voice and gets quiet, and it's just like, he says like a riddle based off of this one short story they had read.
The Mad Love book.
Yes. And
which literally mirrors them too. And Samson.
And then they hang up, and Kidan basically says, "What if, because I'm about to graduate, what if I just take you as my Dranyak?"
The companion.
Yeah.
So the three friends that are remaining would take on the 3 other vampires to be their companion.
And it made me really sad. This part's going to be kind of choppy because everything happens at different times, but I'm going to say it chronologically. At home, Susenyos hangs up and is like, That's my girl. She stabbed me a couple times. That's my girl.
She shot me.
But then he realizes as soon as he hangs up, he's now human in every part of the home. Mm-hmm. And he's so pissed because this is exactly what he had told Kidan he was going to avoid. And he was so ready to tell her off. He was like, oh, I'm going to give her an earful of what I have to say.
You know, after the 10th time, you think I would have learned by now.
Yeah.
But you know what? She's gone too far.
He was already walking out upset, ready to tell her off, but she's sprinting towards him after leaving the Nefrasi and after being tortured, and automatically hugs him. And when they talk about this later, he was like, you took the fight out of me. Like, how could I tell you off when you went through that? And your sister June left you a video message saying that she's been okay. She left on purpose and don't come to look for her. What the do you do then? Because you stabbed me 6 times because of that.
The way that I literally paused the audiobook and screamed. I was like, June, this girl has broken burned a lot of bridges, burned your house, and ruined this man's life over and over again to save you, and for you to just be like, oh, actually, yes, I was really scared of the vampires, but you know what? They're kind of chill, and they've been like teaching me a lot of stuff, and I knew that if I told you I wanted to leave willingly, you wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to escape in the middle of the night. And hey, I hope our foster mom's okay. I hope you forgave her. Love you. Bye. Oh, and then she also got mad because the only reason she's making this video is because she learned that Kidan kind of like vouched for Susenyos during the court hearing.
Yes.
She was like, you should have just let him take the fall. Like, he's a horrible person. You don't know the things that he's done.
I hate it. No one hates Susenyos more than Kidan, and she knows June's wrong for that. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. I was so angry at her, and I thought that this was going to be a point where our main character was just going to give up on June, because it kind of felt like that was bleeding. She kind of
did. Like, she didn't think about her anymore, like for a good minute.
Because doesn't Samson, because they graduate, by the way, and the last thing they had to do in their final was go up to their professor and be like, the thing that connects us to our vampires, we all kill. All 3 of us here. I've killed 2 bitches this year and stabbed 9. It's like they're just admitting to their kills, but it's just like the innate human thing to do.
I thought that was kind of stupid. Because also, like, every year someone's going to be confessing. Oh, yeah, I killed this person, but it's chill. Vampires kill all the time.
And, like, a lot of people quit that class during that one test they had where they had to relate to their vampire's purgatory. And one of them, which was GK, was like, yeah, Inoki, she kind of did a lot of shit, and I don't relate to that. But he seemed so good for a house. Like, he seemed like he could have owned a house.
Mm-hmm. He was too good.
I hate it.
No, they want morally great people.
Okay. I'm not mad at it, but I just, like, kind of hate the delivery of that.
Mm-hmm. I hated it, too, because they were so confident that I forgot what they thought the answer was. But then the professor was like, no, you all fail. Bye, please leave. And then that's when all of a sudden it hit her, and she was like, it's because we're all murderers.
And she brings it up, and it's funny because Yusuf is like,
hypothetically speaking,
yeah, I wouldn't kill someone.
Have you seen my art? Rainbows only. All love here.
And it's funny because then it's like, you pass, and he's like, oh no, yeah, I killed someone. No, yeah.
Now that I can get that off my chest.
Actually, you don't pass. In Minecraft, I never.
He keeps going back and forth depending on the answer. Oh, yeah. But I thought that scene where they graduate and then she says, like, both Samson and Susenyos are her companions now. And
2
they, like,
sexiest men walk down the aisle.
And they're just, like, glaring at each other.
They're playing the Ford F-150 commercial song as they walk down.
Hey, what was that thing that happened?
What thing?
That reminded me of Quicksilver, where it was like, you can never let this touch the ground.
Oh, the pin?
Yeah, the pin. Yes.
The in coin toss. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
because I was like, don't let it touch the ground.
I thought that was kind of dumb where the line was like, it was inches from touching the ground.
But then Susenyos
If
grabbed it.
if I was graduating and I dropped, I don't know, like my pin that my school gives me, and I picked it up inches from the ground, I'd be so embarrassed at that action of trying to catch it that I'd just walk out.
Yeah, I'd be like, never mind. I don't want to graduate anymore.
I'm good. I'll just come back next year. Okay, whatever. That's how much the houses mean to them. She is now like the heiress of the household. And fucking Samson's like, okay, show me where the artifact is. And she's like, no, because I own the house.
And then also you can't hurt me because now you have to abide by the rules.
Yeah.
In the house.
And then Samson goes and throws a 1 week long tantrum, so he's gone. And everything is fine between Susenyos and Kidan, kind of.
Well, this is the moment when he tells her, like, oh, I was really mad at you. Yeah. Because that's when she realizes, oh my God, you're human. And he was like, damn, it took you a while to notice.
It makes me sad.
It makes me sad.
He lost so much because of her.
Yeah, I feel like he just lost too much. Like, what is the benefit for him? Like, why stay in the house?
I don't know.
Because you're only human in the house. Get out.
Yeah.
Leave. Samson is going to come and kill you.
Yep. Samson does come at the end of the book, though, and then is like, okay, brought my U-Haul, all my shit. Also, here's your sister. And she just pops up, and she looks healthy and amazing. The end.
Yeah, that's the end of that book.
Oh, dude.
I was so pissed off at June. I was like, you're going to have the audacity to show your face? And I bet you anything she's going to be pissed that the foster mom's dead. I mean...
What I'm thinking is, how is Kidan gonna somehow blame June being at the door on Susenyos to stab him one more time? And how fast is he gonna be like, it's okay, babe? No,
how many times is she gonna keep stabbing him in the next book?
You think they're still gonna have that type of relationship?
I hope not.
I don't think so. I think they've reached a point now where it's like, we've seen each other's worst. What else can you possibly be hiding from me?
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, I thought that they had already reached that point, and then she shot him, so...
Sometimes you get angry.
Don't say that.
I know.
Don't say
but that's
that.
kind of exactly Kidan's...
That's Kidan, but we're not endorsing that.
No, of course not. How did you feel, now that we're at the end, how did you feel about that first discussion topic in her class where they asked if morality is influenced or innate?
I don't really remember that. I remember the discussion, but I don't really remember what was said.
They basically all agreed that morality is influenced because you learn how to be reflective and regret certain things based on how people around you do. Because if you were around people that kill people, you're not going to care about murder. That was kind of where it was going for Kidan, because Kidan was so okay with seeing some of the worst shit, but it's because she already believed that she was evil. So she, that was like the whole conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but
I felt like she completely misinterpreted what was being said in that conversation. I do think that her character just had so much shit thrown at her and had never been recognized for anything. Although she was reflective, she was also just so pessimistic. Yeah. That it was kind of hard to see the good in herself. So, I don't know. I really did care about her, though. I just wanted her to win at least once.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think she did.
But she was a little wild for me, too.
How do you feel comparing her to other main characters? Do you feel like she's a solid main character?
I don't want to compare her to other main characters. I feel like
she's her own.
I feel like she was good. And I felt like her reasonings, I understood them, but there were many times when I was like, girl, can you just think for 2 seconds? Like, just sit down.
I know you mentioned there were parts you don't like. I don't think any of the characters in this book were mischaracterized. I just think that they weren't the brightest at certain situations. That's what I believe. She had a lot of growing to do, and she still does.
Yeah.
I really wonder how it's going to be different now that her sister's back.
I mean, I don't think they're going to be besties right
Who
away.
knows?
Because then also, wasn't June jealous of her being in the school?
Yes.
She mentioned that in the video, so I don't know. I have no idea. It's a trilogy, though, so I'm excited to see what else happens.
This book came out last year, right?
In September.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm so excited to follow this.
Yeah, because I remember it was like trending. And I think I had told you about it, but it's very long.
Yes.
And I think at that point we were kind of limited on time.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's my dilemma. I don't know if I want to give this a 4 because of the fact that we didn't get to see some of the points of the story I wanted to see, because I wanted to see when they decided to kill GK. I wanted to see some friendships form that didn't, because I really wanted her to get close to Taj and Inoki, and she never did.
Yeah. Maybe the next one.
Or do I give this a 5 because I love Susenyos?
I don't know. What are you feeling more?
I don't know, because I think this is a book that might sit with me for a while.
Yeah.
And I could see myself rereading some parts of the story that I really liked. And I love GK.
It's so funny because I was thinking after I finished it, I was thinking that I really, really enjoyed it. But it's not a book that I see myself rereading.
Really?
Because of how long. I feel like there was so many plot points that I feel like didn't need to happen. I don't know. Like
I'm there for it, though.
I feel like it could have been a little bit more refined.
Well, if this book wanted to be longer, I feel like several points of the story could have just been broken up to several books. Not long books, but so we didn't have to keep following different plot points. Have one book only focus on the Kosia day, or have one book only focus on like her first year. Kind of like Harry Potter.
I don't think
that's what I was thinking. You don't think you?
Yeah, but even though it's YA, it feels adult. You know what I mean? And I don't think adult books are normally broken up like that.
No, I don't think so either. It did feel like an adult book, and I don't know. I don't see teenagers picking this up. I see maybe like 18-year-olds picking this up. But
I could see like 16-year-olds picking this up. I feel like I would have.
I think I would have too. Me at age 11 reading fan fiction.
Oh my God.
I would have picked this
I
up.
was ready for anything.
I know.
Once you get through that hurdle, and you're used to it, you're like, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm going to give this a 5.
Yeah.
I really like this book.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too, but I think I'd give it like a 4.
I respect that. I respect that.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think we've said everything.
Oh gosh.
I think we've talked.
I felt like a fever dream.
I think we talked enough.
To anyone who is listening to anyone who is listening to us in audio form, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on, thank you so much. If you can, please leave a review recommending us our next book and a rating of 5 stars. We would really appreciate that.
So if you want a way to support us a little bit more, we do have a Patreon, which you can find us under patreon.com/bookfix. But if you don't want the commitment of monthly, then you can find us on Ko-fi, which is ko-fi.com/thebookfix, or buymeacoffee.com/thebookfix.
If you are watching us, thank you so much. If you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because we post every Tuesday and Thursday. I think, is this episode coming out on a Tuesday?
No, Thursday.
Our Tuesday episode this week was so good. Hello, we spoke to our character AI book talk boyfriends. That shit was so fun.
It was really fun.
Please go watch that.
I can't wait to do it again.
I know. If you want to support us on anything else, we do have a link tree at linktr.ee/thebookfix. Please go support us there and follow our Goodreads and Fable in order to follow our next book of the month, which is which one again?
It's Tessa Bailey's Dream Girl Drama.
Sounds good. Okay, why don't we read a positive and negative review about this book? Okay, this comes from Rosie, who gave it a 5 out of 5. And she said, "This hit me right at the intersection of who I was at 17, caring too much about my grades and wanting to fuck a vampire." Damn,
This
Rosie.
comes from Honey. They gave it 1 out of 5, and they wrote, "The characters, world building, pacing, writing, romance, dark academia, if you want to call it that, mystery, vampires, etc. Everything about this book was frustrating, insufferable, and disappointing. Darn it, I really wanted to like it too. With the first half, I tried to have fun with it and enjoy it for what it was. The way the chapters were handled was so exhausting. It felt like reading an outline. Dropped into the most important part of a scene and then moved on to the next chapter for another important detail. Never did I feel like the story allowed itself to expand naturally, leave room to breathe. 70 plus chapters? Like, are you kidding me? Gah. And there's going to be 2 more? Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye. It's our birthday.
Well,
It's our birthday next week.
no.
And the week after that. And the week after that.
We're just celebrating our birthday all of March. All of our Thursday episodes of March, we're going to be celebrating.
I fucking love this.
Me too.
I love this so much.